Have you ever woken up with a deep, unsettling feeling that something truly momentous transpired in the hours you were asleep, yet the details have completely vanished? It's a phantom sensation, the faint, lingering echo of a world just beyond your reach, as if a profound spiritual truth touched your essence in the quiet of the night, only to retreat before the morning sun could illuminate it. You sense that your being was involved in an encounter, a lesson, or even a solemn covenant, but your conscious mind is left with nothing but a void. What if this very act of forgetting isn't a simple failure of your memory, but a deliberate, strategic maneuver? It's not a bug in your spiritual operating system. It's a feature, a divine firewall established to protect the sacred cargo your soul holds. This isn't merely a discussion about the mechanics of sleep and recall. This is a conversation about your destiny, about the unique journey your spirit is on, and the reasons why your soul is under intensive observation, specialized training, and a cloak of heavenly secrecy. If you've spent your life with the quiet, persistent feeling that you are fundamentally different, that you don't quite belong to the common crowd, then you've been right all along. If you've always sensed that your existence is tethered to a purpose far grander than your current reality suggests, carrying an unshakable inner knowledge that you were chosen for an elevated path, then this is the message you have been waiting to receive. It is a key meant to unlock the truth you've already internalized. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on a critical spiritual truth that the masses overlook, the true, hidden mechanism behind why the most powerful and prophetic of your dreams seem to slip through your grasp. The realm you forget holds the encrypted blueprints of your divine calling, a map only your highest self is currently permitted to read. But you must lean in and listen with the deepest part of your soul, because what follows isn't some abstract philosophical idea. This is direct spiritual intelligence, a form of sacred data intended only for those who have been given the inner eye to perceive it. If you have found your way to this message, you are meant to hear these words. Your presence here is confirmation of your readiness. Before we fully step across this threshold and reveal what has been strategically hidden from your waking awareness, I invite you to take 3 intentional actions right now. First, give this video a like if you can already feel the resonance of this truth stirring something ancient and deep inside your spirit. Second, make sure to subscribe if you know, without a shadow of a doubt, that you are traversing a spiritual road that only a select few truly comprehend. And third, I want you to go into the comments section and type the number 99. Why 99? Because it is the profound symbol of the one who was brave enough to leave the safety of the crowd, the one who departed from the comfortable ordinary and was ultimately found by an undeniable, earth-shattering purpose. You are not one of the many. You are the one who has been set apart. You never fit in, and that was never the plan. The next few minutes will serve as a powerful affirmation, a reminder of the truth your innermost soul has always known, a truth that no amount of worldly distraction could make it forget. Let us now begin the awakening. There is an entire, fully operational world situated directly behind your closed eyelids. This is not some childish fantasy, nor is it a mere neural hallucination. It is a plane of existence more authentic, more vibrantly real than the physical dimension you navigate every day. A realm where ultimate truth is unveiled, and the temporal veil of the natural world is systematically lifted. Your dreams are fundamentally not random mental noise. They are in fact spiritual corridors, specifically engineered passageways designed for the passage of souls who have been distinctly marked for a colossal assignment. If you recognize yourself as one of these chosen individuals, then you have already been walking, learning, and operating within these corridors, whether you retain the conscious memory of it or not. Perhaps all you awaken with is a rapid, pounding heart, a barely audible whisper of a voice, or a nagging feeling that an immensely important piece of information just dissolved at your fingertips. These are not losses. They are indicators of profound activity. But the startling reality is this: you were fully present and entirely engaged in that realm, operating on a spiritual frequency that your current waking, earthly mind is not yet equipped to interpret or contain. Dreams are not a form of escapism. They are direct spiritual encounters. The chosen ones are summoned into these midnight sessions not to idly wander through mental landscapes, but to actively receive. They are there to take in visions, receive direct, encrypted instructions, absorb codes, and sometimes even accept specific, high-level assignments from frequencies that reside far above your daily comprehension. In the dream state, you are not simply an observer. You are being observed with great intensity and care. Higher beings watch over you. The energetic frequencies that define your spiritual atmosphere shift and bend around you. The very fabric of the invisible atmosphere contorts, because your presence, even in repose, is not merely physical. It is profoundly spirit-charged. This is why the most pivotal, destiny-altering moments of your entire life may have already occurred within the confines of dreams that you have absolutely no conscious recollection of. This truth, in itself, should change how you view your sleep forever. So, the critical question remains, why can't you remember these monumental events? The answer lies in the hierarchy of spiritual existence. The human mind is governed by limits, but the awakened spirit operates on multiple levels of capacity. The divine does not entrust the most profound, heavy revelations to the shallow, often compromised vessel of human memory. What is allowed to be forgotten by your mind is instead meticulously embedded into the bedrock of your spirit. It is sealed, locked away, and protected until the precise moment your predestined calling requires its sudden and full activation. Some truths right now are simply too voluminous, too spiritually heavy for the present, maturing version of you to carry without crushing you. Consequently, these truths are encrypted, locked behind a deliberate veil of forgetting, an act that is not meant as a punishment or a deprivation, but as a crucial step of divine preservation. This is precisely why your dreams so often feel perpetually just beyond your grasp, like a word on the tip of your tongue. It is because they are literally echoing back to you from your immediate future. They are not guiding you with simplistic clarity, but with an essential layer of mystery. Because mystery, by its very nature, generates spiritual and physical movement. Your journey is not one of a soul that is lost. You are a soul that is being meticulously and powerfully led toward its ultimate unfolding. And here is the raw, difficult truth that few spiritual teachers will articulate. There are certain pivotal dreams that you are explicitly not meant to remember yet. Why? Because if you did, your spiritual opposition, the enemy, would instantly be granted the precise tactical coordinates necessary to launch an effective, debilitating strike against you. Your current experience is a spiritual war of revelation versus impeccable timing, and your state of forgetting is not a sign of spiritual weakness. It is a brilliant, essential strategy. The one who chose you is actively shielding the very blueprint that you carry within you, waiting for your character and maturity to align with your mission. But what will happen when that protective veil finally begins to thin and lift? What will the spiritual reality be when you are at last permitted the full memory and the immediate mandate to act upon it? That transformative moment is, I promise you, far closer than your current perception allows. And when it breaks through, your entire reality, your daily existence, your relationships, your vision, will profoundly shift on its axis. You will cease to simply feel chosen, and you will begin definitively to know it. While the physical world succumbs to sleep, the spirit realm becomes intensely active. The very instant your eyes close, a spiritual transaction begins to stir, something ancient and deeply purposeful. Sleep for the chosen does not signify a cessation of activity. It is a transition into an alternate, much more consequential battlefield. Let this concept settle deep into your innermost consciousness. Every single night, you willingly lay your physical body down to rest. Your eternal spirit stands up and reports for duty. The very second your spirit rises, you are immediately seen. You are not only observed by the celestial forces of heaven, but are also scrutinized by the forces of darkness. The enemy holds no genuine fear of the person you currently are, in your present state of knowledge and power. His true terror is reserved for the unstoppable, fully awakened person you are rapidly in the process of becoming. He possesses a chilling preview of your future impact, the magnitude of your light, the undeniable authority of your voice, and his singular, overarching objective is to neutralize that impact before it can achieve full spiritual wakefulness. This is why your dream life is far more than a simple byproduct of brain activity. It is a full-fledged war zone. The vast majority of people remain completely oblivious to the fact that they are locked in consequential, soul-shaping battles while their bodies are resting. But you, the chosen one, you have felt it. You recognize that sudden, violent jolt that pulls you out of deep sleep. You know the oppressive, unshakable heaviness that clings to your chest, that strange, peripheral figure you see lurking at the edge of your dream vision, or the voice that nearly speaks your assignment, but then dissolves just before the name is uttered. This is not the result of a mere bad dream or a restless night. It is a powerful signal. The enemy does not make the effort to break into empty, valueless houses. He only dedicates his energy to invading and targeting what he recognizes as having immense, irreplaceable value. If your dreams are consistently being targeted, it is a definitive confirmation that your destiny is profoundly dangerous to the established darkness. Now hear this truth clearly. The devil does not waste his time or resources on individuals who are spiritually dormant and content to remain so. But the moment you begin the process of genuine awakening, when your spirit starts to fully remember the profound truth of who he enters an immediate state of panic. To counter this spiritual threat, he strategically deploys distractions, injects false or confusing dream narratives, assaults you with night terrors, and leaves behind emotional residue that tenaciously clings to you in the morning, all in an attempt to pull you irrevocably off your predetermined course before your day even has a chance to begin. But this is where the real beauty and mystery of this truth reside. You are not compelled to fight this invisible war entirely on your own. God has diligently encrypted your dreams, treating them like priceless, ancient, hidden scrolls. They become fully legible only when your spirit has achieved the necessary level of maturity and readiness. And they are only accessible when the protective spiritual shield around you is fortified enough to contain the power they hold. This is because some visions are too pristine, too purely prophetic, to be exposed to any form of spiritual contamination or prematurely leaked. You are not experiencing this amnesia because you are spiritually inept. You are forgetting because your dreams are fiercely guarded. This mechanism is what we call divine amnesia, a sophisticated system of holy firewalls and profound spiritual shielding. If your adversary were granted full, unhindered sight of the magnificent plan that God is currently orchestrating within you, he would launch a war that is far greater than your current spiritual maturity and capacity could possibly withstand. So the Creator executes a brilliant protective maneuver. He hides the complete, detailed blueprint deep within the sacred chamber of your soul, and then allows your external life to slowly, patiently and gradually catch up to the revelation. He does not dump the entire truth onto you at once. Instead, he trains you through necessary periods of darkness and teaches you essential lessons through strategic periods of complete silence. Even while you are in the deepest state of sleep, the chosen ones are undergoing a crucial process of refinement, not through gentle comfort and ease, but through spiritual clash and resistance. I want you to understand that every single attack you have endured has served to sharpen your spiritual discernment. Every dream that was seemingly stolen only served to exponentially increase your inner hunger for truth. And every silent battle you fought and survived in the night was, in fact, a seed of holy fire meticulously planted deep within your spirit, preparing you for the day you will finally rise, fully and powerfully awake, because that definitive day is rapidly approaching, and your enemy knows this with an absolute certainty. This is the precise reason why you have noticed the relentless attacks increasing in frequency and intensity. This is why your dreams have become more chaotic, and why your sleep feels less like recuperation and more like an arduous, tireless spiritual work. But what the enemy fails to fully grasp is that you are subtly, unconsciously learning his patterns. You are remembering the core truth without the need for conscious recollection. You are seeing the full picture without the use of your physical eyes. Your spirit is a divine storage vault, quietly collecting and storing critical information that your memory is simply not yet large enough to contain. And here is the most astonishing spiritual twist of all. The potent knowledge you believe you have lost in the night is merely waiting to be returned to you at the divinely appointed time. And when it does return, it will not manifest as a fragile, easily forgotten dream. It will come back as an undeniable, absolute revelation. Because when the chosen one begins the final phase of their awakening, the seemingly stolen dreams do not revert to their original form. They return dramatically transformed, infinitely empowered, and charged with crystal-clear divine authority. The very instant that occurs, the entire nature of the spiritual battle shifts entirely. But the shift won't happen the way your logical mind expects. Because I must ask you, what if I told you that the next time you surrender to sleep, you will no longer be simply defending your purpose, you will be actively activating it? Have you experienced that recent peculiar tension between having an internal, deep-seated knowing that a major shift is occurring inside you, and yet being completely incapable of explaining or articulating it to anyone? It's as if your spiritual life is still dynamically unfolding in the night. But instead of waking up with a tangible, clear image of what happened, you are left with a powerful, knowing presence. A strong internal vibration, a whisper in the core of your chest that confirms something profound was revealed last night. Even though I cannot consciously recall what it was, that feeling is not spiritual confusion or intellectual fog. That is the unmistakable signature of activation. Because your eternal soul is now entering its critical phase of awakening, and when the soul reaches this level, it no longer requires painstaking details or complex symbols. What it requires is perfect alignment. This is the spiritual reason why your memory may be forgetting more dreams than it usually does. It's not because you are drifting further away from the truth, but because you are, in reality, getting closer to it than ever before. The mode of the message has shifted its spiritual level, moving from your easily distracted surface mind directly to your eternal, mutable spirit. You are now transitioning into a completely new phase of your journey, a phase where the divine no longer communicates with you solely through external signs and symbols, but through irreversible internal shifts, deep, spiritual realignments that completely bypass the need for language or words. This explains why you've been sensing a marked difference in yourself lately. You have simply outgrown certain geographical locations, certain familiar people, and even comfortable, former versions of your own self. This intense internal recalibration is not random or haphazard. It is a precise and necessary recalibration. Your subconscious mind is no longer primarily operating in a survival mode designed for the lower self. It is now syncing, vibrating, and communicating with something divine, something timeless, the authentic self you were always predestined to become. And here is the most crucial spiritual nuance that nearly everyone fails to grasp. Awakening does not always feel like a sudden flood of glorious light and blissful understanding. Sometimes, the process of awakening feels like relentless pressure, like a profound, echoing silence, or like an intense emotional disconnection from people and things that once provided a feeling of security and comfort. This occurs because when your soul finally begins to remember its true, eternal identity, the older, limited version of you must inevitably begin to fall away and disintegrate. And when this process is underway, your dreams undergo a radical transformation. They stop being scattered and symbolic, and they become intensely targeted and precisely timed. Yet, you might still not recall them when you wake up, because they are no longer being temporarily stored in your easily corrupted head. They are being permanently sealed into the foundational DNA of your spirit. Let me state this with absolute clarity. Your spirit is currently collecting and integrating spiritual data that your logical, waking mind is not yet qualified to process. This is why you consistently wake up feeling fundamentally different, even when you possess no concrete explanation for the change. This is why you can walk into certain atmospheres or rooms and feel an immediate, palpable shift. It's as if you have stepped into a profound energetic frequency you have definitely encountered before, but cannot consciously place. That sensation is not the fleeting feeling of déjà vu. That is your soul definitively recognizing spiritual coordinates from your recent powerful dream encounters. You have already been there in the realm of the spirit, and now your physical life is in the deliberate process of catching up to that experience. This is the pivotal, dangerous stage where the majority of people simply surrender and give up. primarily because they prioritize the comfort of external clarity over the internal, often messy work of transformation. They desperately crave to remember the details instead of bravely committing to the journey, of simply becoming the person the dream foreshadows. But if you have remained with me and are still watching you are not counted among the majority. You are a part of a select spiritual remnant that senses the deep subterranean rumble of destiny. You feel that unshakable, relentless pull that whispers, "There is more to this. I am not finished evolving. I am not done remembering the full truth." You are no longer just dreaming. You are being profoundly reconstructed at a core level. And just as a seed must endure the violent process of cracking open before it can fully rise into a tree, your old limited self had to strategically forget so that your true, authentic self could powerfully and undeniably emerge. Because the immense purpose that is coming next is not intended for the simple dreamer you once were. It is specifically designed for the warrior prophet you are now rapidly becoming. But just before that powerful future version of you is fully revealed to the world, something entirely unexpected will occur. A powerful spiritual echo, a triumphant return, a definitive, irreversible unlocking of a dream you may have forgotten long ago, but which was never truly lost. And the moment that memory returns, it will no longer be a fleeting dream. It will be your unmistakable awakening. The secret curriculum. Discipleship in the dark. Have you ever experienced waking up feeling profoundly more exhausted than when you initially went to sleep? Not merely physically fatigued, but spiritually drained, as though you have just returned from a consequential hours-long battle that you have no memory of fighting. I assure you, this is not a product of your imagination. This is an integral, non-negotiable part of the training of the chosen. While the rest of the world utilizes sleep for simple rest and rejuvenation, you, the chosen one, sleep for intense refinement. The chosen are not only trained during the light of day, where the lessons are structured, clear, and obvious. They are subjected to a rigorous curriculum in the midnight realm, where the divine speaks profound, coded instructions in whispers. You do not simply dream. You actively absorb, you intensely engage, and you wrestle with deeply embedded esoteric truths. Every single night, your spirit is enrolled in a different spiritual classroom, thrust onto a new battlefield, and introduced to a new layer of the divine's intricate blueprint for your total becoming. And these nocturnal lessons are not always comfortable or aesthetically pleasing. They do not always follow the linear logic of your waking mind. They often manifest as strange, rapid-fire symbols, as bizarre, chaotic scenes, or as ancient, untranslatable languages that your conscious mind cannot possibly decode. Yet your eternal soul understands everything perfectly. This is the reason you wake up with a feeling of fundamental change, even when you can offer no logical explanation why. Your spirit learns and integrates the lesson long before your memory has a chance to catch up and process it. But here is the profound distinction that most people fail to grasp. Not every lesson you are taught in the night is intended to be consciously remembered. Some lessons are meant to be embedded deep into your spiritual core. Some are strategically designed to quietly and without fanfare build your unshakable foundation, without the need for applause, without full clarity, and without a detailed, comforting explanation. Because true, lasting spiritual growth is almost always silent and invisible to the naked eye. The human ego constantly craves to remember every detail. It wants to be able to boast openly about the grandness of its recent revelation. But God does not train you for external attention or validation. He trains you exclusively for your assignment. And sometimes He deliberately hides your own tremendous progress from you, specifically so that the insidious influence of pride cannot contaminate the sacred nature of your preparation. This is why you have been feeling this immense internal tension, this sensing of a profound work being executed in the dark. This is why, even in moments of stillness, your soul feels intensely active and engaged. It's because behind the closed curtain of your sleep, you have been thoroughly tested. You have been rigorously sharpened. You have been entrusted with high-level spiritual simulations, encounters that the vast majority of people will never even remotely access. These are dreams where you are interceding powerfully without uttering a single word. Dreams where you are forced to face the shadows and fears you didn't even realize you carried within you. Dreams where the most critical lesson is not about conquering an external foe, but about the spiritual resilience required to endure. And with the successful completion of each of these hidden training cycles, your spirit inexorably grows stronger. Your spiritual discernment becomes surgically sharp. The quiet, inherent authority of your soul begins its silent, powerful ascent. But the divine keeps this process meticulously quiet, because genuine destiny is not constructed in the clamor and noise of public opinion. It is forged in the silence of the shadows, in the depth of whispers, in the most profound, secret places where the parasitic ego cannot follow or interfere. You are being trained not just to intellectually know the truth, but to physically and spiritually carry it. And that immense weight requires a foundation of character. It demands pressure. It necessitates a secret shaping that will not always come with clear, visible signs or reassuring confirmations. That is the fundamental reason you are here, the reason you continue to watch, and why you feel this undeniable spiritual pull, even though you cannot fully explain its source. You are not just dreaming, chosen one. You are being discipled in the dark. But a profound shift is now occurring. You are rapidly approaching a spiritual threshold, a sacred moment where the lessons that were once hidden will finally begin to surface, where the knowledge that was meticulously sealed will begin to subtly glow, where the profound, silent knowledge from your night season will start to move through your everyday words, decisively shape your choices, and powerfully charge your very presence. And your adversary, the enemy, knows this moment is upon you. This is why the pressure on you has recently intensified. This is why the spiritual warfare has escalated with such ferocity. This is because the final, crucial phase of your hidden training is nearing its completion. And when it is finally complete, you will not simply remember the fullness of who you are. You will move differently. You will speak with an entirely new quality of authority. And you will command atmospheres with a palpable difference. Because the chosen do not graduate with mere paper diplomas. They graduate with an irrevocable authority. And yours is now coming into full manifestation. Let this absolute truth settle and permeate your spirit. The act of forgetting a dream does not, for 1 second, mean that the dream itself was meaningless or unimportant. It means that the truth, or vision you witnessed, was too sacred and too critically important to be exposed or compromised prematurely. Because in the high-stakes realm of the chosen, conscious memory is not a simple rite. It is, instead, a definitive mark of spiritual readiness. When the divine finally permits you to remember a profound dream, he is not just handing you a piece of insight or a fleeting revelation. He is issuing you a direct assignment, and not every person is immediately ready or prepared to carry that immense weight of responsibility and action. You must understand that there are certain explosive revelations, truths so deeply interwoven with the core of your calling that if they were released too early, they would catastrophically derail your entire destiny. God does not hide these things to tease you or to be withholding. He strategically hides them entirely to protect you. This is because some dreams are not just about the incredible things you saw. They are fundamentally about the immediate, powerful actions you will be compelled to take once you are shown the full vision. And if he were to show it to you too soon, you might react and move out of a place of human fear instead of divine faith. You might accidentally share the sacred blueprint with people who would exploit or misunderstand it. You might choose to move forward before the necessary spiritual anointing has had the time to fully mature within you. So, he seals it away. He meticulously hides the vast, profound vision within your spirit, like a potent, dormant seed buried deep in the nourishing soil. It remains silent, completely unseen by the world, but it is intensely alive and waiting. And when the perfect appointed time arrives, when your character has finally caught up to the immense scope of your calling, when your spirit possesses the capacity to carry what your mind could not fathom before, He unlocks it and grants you access. That is the spiritual context for why you sometimes wake up in the middle of the night, your heart pounding, feeling like you just witnessed something absolutely massive. But the vivid images have already completely slipped away. It was not lost forever. It was deliberately filed away. God archived that moment because you were not yet meant to process the truth intellectually. You were meant to grow into it spiritually. This is the reason why the ability to consciously remember your dreams is such a rare and holy grace. It is a sacred moment, a divine permission slip to begin a major phase of action. Because with every remembered powerful dream comes a weighty question from the highest heaven. Will you steward this truth with obedience? Will you carry this assignment with the utmost fidelity? Will you honor what others would carelessly exploit? That is the true, heavy weight of it all. That is why some of your most potent, most prophetic dreams were immediate, followed by a profound, echoing silence. It was not because they didn't matter in the grand scheme. It was because they mattered too much to ever risk being mishandled. Chosen one, if you have been desperately craving more memories, more clear dreams, more simple clarity, you must grasp this. God is not holding back his revelation to punish you or to keep you small. He is profoundly preparing you to hold a much greater, more powerful capacity. Because the act of remembering a true, prophetic dream always and without exception leads directly to immense spiritual responsibility. And that responsibility, stewarded well, is what opens doors and creates opportunities that talent on its own could never, ever approach. The dreams are not gone forever. They are simply waiting patiently, like an entire shelf of sacred scrolls behind a massive, locked gate in heaven's immense library, each one bearing your sacred name. And when that formidable gate finally opens, it will not just be a gentle trickle of revelation. It will be an absolute, uncontainable release of power. But here is the most critical part, the hard truth you must be mentally and spiritually ready for. When God finally allows you to remember that key dream, it will not come back to you as a simple vision. It will arrive as a demanding, unavoidable call to action. And when that moment arrives, you will be faced with the most defining decision of your life. Because at that stage, remembering is no longer just about knowing the truth. It is about becoming the truth. And some of the profound things you've been begging to remember might irrevocably cost you the comfort, the safety, and the security you are still, perhaps unconsciously, clinging to. The question is not simply if you are ready for the revelation, but are you truly ready for what the act of remembering will require of you? Because once the vision comes, you simply can't unsee it. You will be unable to retreat and return to your former state of comfortable ignorance, and the world around you will no longer see you as just another face in the crowd. They will see the immense, unmistakable power you carry. They will feel the profound, sobering weight of what you have seen behind the veil. They will immediately sense the undeniable authority of an individual who has been behind the spiritual curtain and has been sent back with a clear, potent message and a divine mandate. That sacred time is now near, closer than your present anxiety suggests. And when that veil finally lifts entirely, you will finally realize with a sudden, beautiful clarity that you were never just idly dreaming. You were, in every moment, being prepared to reveal something eternal and entirely necessary to a waiting world. Chosen one, you are not losing your dreams. You are in every quiet night, being powerfully forged by them. Every period of silence, every night of confusion, every forgotten vision is not a sign of absence. It is an anointing in disguise. You are not being spiritually overlooked or ignored. You are being rigorously over-prepared for a purpose far greater and more comprehensive than your mind can even remotely comprehend right now. Because what is rapidly approaching will necessitate the use of every scar you bear, every single night of confusion you endured, and every season where you felt falsely that heaven had gone silent on you. But heaven was never silent. It was always and only strategic. God has been speaking to you in profound, complex layers, diligently downloading the full spiritual blueprint directly into the core of your spirit, not the temporary storage of your memory. Because the spiritual weight you carry is far too sacred for the risk of casual or accidental recall. You were never intended to remember in the fragmented, incomplete way the rest of the world does. You were ultimately destined to awaken. You were specifically chosen to carry a potent fire, not easily extinguishable fragments. You were meant to walk in the fullness of revelation, not just the disappointment of blurred recollection. That is why the silence around you has felt so profoundly loud. That is why your dreams have felt perpetually just out of reach. Because your spirit is intensely expanding, actively becoming the very answer and solution you have been relentlessly seeking. You are not forgotten by your Creator. You are being meticulously refined. You are not spiritually behind or delayed. You are now powerfully becoming aligned. You are not dreaming less than before. You are, in fact, hearing more clearly than you ever have in your entire life. Now, this is not the moment for you to hesitate or to shrink back in fear. Now is the time to boldly stand, to prepare your mind and heart, and to remain absolutely faithful even when the full clarity has not yet arrived. Because when it does, you will not just be able to see the full vision, you will instantly become a vision for the world to witness. This is your definitive call to finally rise up and take your place. Heaven has remembered you, even in the moments you couldn't recall your own dreams, and soon, the spiritual seal will break entirely. The veil will finally lift, and everything God has hidden inside of you will ignite in perfect divine timing. So, make a powerful, definitive declaration right now. Type it with conviction in the comments section below. I'm not forgotten. I'm being prepared. Let the enemy hear that declaration and tremble. Let your soul feel the truth of it reverberate deep within you. Let the heavens confirm the reality of your commitment. You are actively being prepared for a divine and undeniable purpose. And no dream lost, no vision blurred by confusion, no single night of silence will ever have the power to stop what God has already irrevocably written into the sacred core of your spirit. Get ready. Your moment is no longer a promise in the distant future. It's here, speak it, believe it, walk in it. Your destiny is waiting. Now go forth and light up the darkness.